It is a very great shame that so many people who are young took the politics of rock stars to be real ones rather than just a wall of sound. The function of the copyright claim, the exploitation claim, was to prevent lives from being saved with information. One of the things that we know about the press corps is that people who believe by principle in getting the truth and information to the public for public safety put their jobs first. That does not mean it is reasonable among reasonable people to deny payment to someone for their hard work and their injuries pursuing social justice. The only person who has worked that way on this matter has been me, and I've been tortured. As a rule of the thumb, it is not usually because a case has no merit that the authorities in power devour someone trying to warn the public through the Fourth Estate. It is usually that the person who is discussing matters of great importance and presenting evidence are perceived as a threat because what they're saying is true, that they are attacked, vilified, violated, tortured, exploited, used, lied to, and about. In my view, from long, hard, difficult to accept experience, there's all this talk about the Palestinians being dehumanized. Dehumanization is being misrepresented in a very sophomoric way by all concerned. They used to say I was dehumanizing Reagan. I was dehumanizing Leslie Katz. I was being dictatorial, and various other snide, sophomoric things to say. Gays were being dehumanized, certainly, but not by me. What makes the ringleaders from the British gay community so much like Hamas to me isn't dehumanization. It's the failure to understand that when somebody is dehumanized, they are rendered expendable. Suppression of information is a function of expendability for the gay community. They lied, they covered up, they restricted warning, apparently deeming that the principle of copyright was more important than the people whose lives would have been saved with information. Hamas, too, seems to have felt that the Palestinians were in some way expendable. Some of them seem to live in other areas of Arabia, better off. I've heard someone speak today with a gay journalist from Britain who himself has lost friends in the terrifying bombardment of Gaza. He said the conditions there were so bad that some of the most intelligent and beautiful and useful and meaningful people he had ever met died without ever having a chance to live. That's terrifying and it's horrible and takes a lot of work to accept. But most of the people who I've heard talk want to turn back the clock, their homes back, want to be in schools, raising their children. The children want their arms and their legs. They don't see themselves as expendable. I never saw the gays as expendable. Even Ringo Starr, with his myriad of detectives and laws, would never be able to erase how hard I tried to warn the gay community for their own safety about what was going on in Pittsburgh under Reagan. Nothing can turn back the clock, but they will do their level best to distort the memory. We talk about expendability in terms of individuals and masses. And we talk about a world where the unipolar power of the United States has given way to a multipolar world of different powers vying for influence and protection of their own sovereignties. When the unipolar moment was lost, it was lost, in my view, because we didn't change our priorities to healthcare, universities, water, Doctors Without Borders, ecology, ecological curricular reform. Those are the things that a multipolar world also needs to shoulder. It's not one person's job. To make one unipolar vision out of broken down deaf men who worked hard to warn you is criminal. And in fact, it shows why I believe the gay community bears the onus of responsibility for the tragedy in Gaza. Had they stopped playing head games, mind games, absurd raps on completely innocent person, they would have gone after the author of the letters, who was an Israeli working with Netanyahu, and put a stop to this business in 1984, when Peter Gabriel claims to have found letters that I only realized had some storyline about Lenin in 1993. I've done everything I possibly can to warn people, and they've answered me that they want a unified dereliction claim so that I can represent all of the other people who they deemed expendable and who themselves too could have saved John Lennon, because John Lennon is bigger than John Lennon. He's bigger than us. He's bigger than all of us. He holds our martyrdom and our cause and our sainthood to be in his hand, to decide with a snicker and an aquiline English nose what's true when he gets over the coke he's been tooting with his dinner. There's nothing that anyone can say to turn back the clock, but you don't have your lies straight. The gay community was not expendable to me. The children of Gaza were not expendable to me. I am not expendable to me. I resent deliberately being given neurological disorders by the perpetrators of the whole thing, being defended by people who believe that not to defend them is somehow dehumanizing their other victims. You can't make that make sense. So you said people are just weird.